So we're going to go over the skills that we have covered with Miss Hazel here. So this first exercise is relax on a mat. So this in a nutshell is going to give Miss Hazel emotional intelligence, and that is just through her relaxed body language, telling her that everything that's going on around her is a-okay. So perfect. So this is what we're looking for. She comes on over, gives us a DOWN, and rests her little chin down on the mat like that. That's perfect. So the reason that I spell this out when I'm discussing this exercise is because it is a command-free exercise. I've never told her DOW down or to put the rest your chin down on command or anything like that. It's just conveyed through giving her a treat, letting her know she's doing the right thing, and she has to work through this 100% on her own, which is actually what makes it a powerful exercise. So anytime she gets stressed out, you can break out the mat, do relax on a mat, and then just start to introduce this in different circumstances. So you can take her to a park and do relax on a mat so she starts to get comfortable with, bikes and kids and all the crazy stuff going on. And a way that you can handle an auditory response would be to Google the sound that stresses her out. It might be fireworks or a dog barking, whatever it is, put it on the lowest volume setting, do relax on the mat, and then slowly ratchet that up over time to a lot louder setting. And then if it's a visual stimulus, so something that she sees, then you could work from a distance, do relax on the mat, and then get closer and closer to that stimulus over time. So if it was a garbage truck, for instance, you could have her be able to see the garbage truck, you're doing it inside, then I would leash her up, go onto the front patio. When the garbage truck's coming by, then do it in the yard when she gets a little closer, and just continue to approach and get closer and closer and closer. So a very powerful tool for emotional intelligence and helping her to work through those big emotions. So a very, very crucial exercise that we're going over here. So keep this one in your toolbox. Miss Hazel does have a tendency to get a little bit nervous, sweetie, about this, that, and the other, and so giving her an exercise that gives her the capability to realize that she can calm herself down and relax herself will be hugely important for our little cutie here. So next we're going to go over our name game exercises. We just want her to look at us every time that we say her name. So the first one is the easiest. I'm just going to take a treat, drag it up towards my face, and say Hazel. As soon as she makes eye contact, I'll click that moment, let her know that it's perfect the moment she looks at me. Then I'm going to take my hands, put them down by my side, and I'm going to say, Hazel. She's got to look at me even though I'm not dragging the treat up towards my face and making it easier for her. Then I'm going to create an artificial distraction for her, and she's going to be interested in this treat out here. Hazel. She's got to come back and make eye contact, even though she's interested in the treat out there. And then I'm going to take a treat, I'm going to toss it on the ground. So she's going to be interested in that. Hazel. I'm going to click as soon as she gains interest in me again. Hazel. So she gets used to just focusing back in on me. So I always like to parlay that into recall. So just developing a really strong name recognition will cultivate a very strong recall response, which is exactly what we're looking for. And really, anytime that a dog is doing an exercise, if you just get them to focus in on you, then they will be successful. Usually what I've noticed is it's just dogs being inattentive. So the name games is one of the most crucial exercises for our pups. So let's go over her recall. Here you go, sweetie. Right here. You missed two? You missed two? There you go. Hazel, come. Sit. Good girl. Hazel, down. Good girl. Hazel, down. Stay. Free. Good girl. So that's our sit down and stay. So she does a great job giving me my down until I release her. If she does a thing where she pops up, if you say down and then you click and then she springs up immediately, I just let her hang out for a longer period of time and then give her a click, and she should be successful for you. So you can, with her stay, you can always start to work from further distances and work for longer periods of time. And also, she's doing a great job. So turning away from her immediately is going to be more challenging than continuing to face her and tell her to stay. But honestly, we can just immediately turn away and say, Hazel, stay. And then turn away from her. Pretty. Good girl. Very good. So it's also really beneficial for impulse control. So I really love this exercise for helping our dogs to focus and realize that they can't get up until you tell them free, which is her release cue. You can also call her over and say, Hazel, come. Both are acceptable. Hazel, touch. So this is our targeting exercise. We want Miss Hazel to be able to go wherever we position her. Touch. And also be able to just do a great attention getting exercise. So anytime we're out in public, you know, if you want to get her attention and get her positioned exactly where you need her to be, then you can just say, Hazel, touch, and boom, she'll come to this spot, which can be hugely beneficial. I also like to use it for loose leash walking. It can be really helpful. So as soon as we're walking, if she's not exactly where I want her to be, I can just tell her touch, and then bam, she'll hit that spot right where she needs to be positioned. So next we'll go over her leave it exercise. So what we're looking for on this is a real definitive pullback as soon as I tell her to leave it. So I'll let her get interested in the treats and then tell her to leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Good girl. So you notice she pulls back. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. And I actually do want to wait until she's interested in the treats when we're working on this exercise, so I know that she's really got the capacity to pull back when she's got something that really sparks her interest. So another thing about Leave It is that it's great to work with as many different items as you can. So we work with treats as well as some different toys, and it can really be helpful. Leave it. That she realizes that regardless of whatever the item is, that she's got to be able to leave it. Leave it. Good girl. One other thing to take note of is if she gets it in her mouth, that's fine. Leave it. And then basically we used a leave it in lieu of a drop it. So leave it means if you're interested in something, back away from it, and if you have something in your mouth, to drop it. So leave it for anything. We're interested or we actually get it in our mouth. Nice job, sweetie. So next we're going to go over her space exercise. So she's doing a really great job on hurting her jumping. So Hazel, space. So what we're looking for is just about a 2-foot bubble around me. We can try to get her wound up a little bit here. Hazel, space. You're too good. You're too good. On this one, when I'm working with her, space, ideally I like to treat a dog from the ground, so they're used to everything coming from down low. So the opposite of being focused on things up high. So that's ideal if given that opportunity. So next what I want to go over, she's so smart, we went over an exercise that I go over with my pups that are really coming along more quickly. So this is a great exercise for teaching our pups where to go when somebody comes to the door, and just giving them a habitual routine. So every time someone comes, this is what we're looking for. So I'm going to take a mat here. Mat. Good girl. Hazel, down. Stay. toss a treat off the mat. Hazel, mat. Good girl. Back. Hazel. Mat. Good girl. Down. Stay. Free. So the reason that I was waiting for her, when we've been working through this exercise, largely she'll come on over to the mat and hang out and give me a down, and I don't have to ask for it. So if we need to ask for every individual piece, then it looks something like this. So I take a treat. Hazel, mat. Hazel, mat. Good. Hazel, down. Good. Hazel, stay. Free. Good. So that's every individual piece. Actually, one thing that I did not like about that, she ran by the mat. So if we needed to do some repetitions, some additional repetitions to get her comfortable with a specific area, and go from this side. Hazel, mat. As soon as she hits the mat, we give her a click. Hazel, mat. Hazel, mat. Hazel, mat. Hazel, mat. Hazel, mat. Hazel, mat. So I did some repetitions real quick there, just continuing to stand here. She seemed to keep going past the mat, so she's kind of on the edge here. I didn't really like that, so it's giving her a click a little bit sooner, which is all well and good. But yeah, breaking that down piece by piece, I just tell her mat. She comes on over to a specific mat, hangs out, and tell her down, and then stay. She stays until I tell her free. So this definitely differs from our relax on the mat exercise. This is everything on command. So you can set out a specific mat she goes over to when someone comes to the door, and start to work with her so she knows every time someone comes, this is what I'm supposed to do. I go over to my mat and then I wait until someone releases me. Another thing that you can kind of tinker with, which is really beneficial, is starting to mess around with the door and start to make things loud and more exciting for her, so that she knows that regardless of how crazy things get, she's still got to hang out. So I'm just working on desensitizing her. So it just looks like a little something like this. We haven't done a whole slew of desensitization, but we started working through this. Hazel, mat. Girl. Stand. Yeah, let's get you when you're down. Hazel, down. Girl, stay. Free. Good girl. So, hey, Izzy, no. So we've got some other, hey, Izzy, no. Some other dogs that are hanging out in here. Here you go. Good girl. So that is our door cue, and so the mat is what we say. We say Hazel mat. She comes on over the mat, hangs out, and then wait until she is released. So really, really great, particularly when you got a dog that's a little bit more nervous, that she knows exactly every time that someone comes, this is the routine. This is what I'm supposed to do. And so it can be hugely beneficial so that she just knows what to expect. So you can break out a mat and then have her utilize this exact same mat every single time, or use a mat and then stop, pull up the mat, and just have her get used to this same proximity. So we could work through. She's starting to get a general understanding. This is where she's supposed to be, and then I could even toss a treat off the mat. It sounds kind of silly, but you can say mat, and Have her understand this is like my zone. Hazel, come. Matt, down. Stay. Down. Hazel, stay. Back. Down. Stay. Free. So she's getting kind of uncomfortable. We've never done one where we don't have the mat out. And I would prefer to do a bunch of repetitions so she understands this is my general area that I need to go to. And usually it's easier for them if I do just have a specific mat and maybe it's just the your entryway rug or whatever, and let her know this is exactly where you need to go. Hang out and wait till you're released. But it can be a really beneficial exercise. So next we're gonna get a little cutie leashed up here, and we'll go on our walking. Nice job, you.